Oh, Lord. Sorry. How y'all doing? That was a nice. After that, I'm just going to go home. Good morning. My name is Brian Hopkins. I am your worship associate today. I missed the fall color phone call, Jen. I mean, come on. You know, I guess there is black. Okay, anyhow. From many cultures, sexualities, genders, and beliefs, we come together as one congregation, as one group, as one family, as one congregation. And it's a beautiful start with this choir. It's just absolutely fantastic. If you are brand spanking new, if you haven't been here yet, and this is your first time, if you've been here as many times as Jim Paoletti has been, good golly, Miss Molly, or in between, you may have a question or two, like how can you be standing up here making stupid jokes and trying. Mary Beth Lerner is in the back. She is the welcoming captain. She'll be happy to answer any of your questions if you have any. Please feel free to reach out to her. Now, this morning's service explores how to navigate a world that too often requires us to choose between safety and what we believe is right. Music will be offered by this amazing choir and an amazing jazz trio, which you're going to hear shortly. Now, this is a holiday weekend, so in lieu of religious education classes, we're going to have Sarah Scott leaving the crowd over here about halfway through. For the kids that prefer not to sit still and sit quietly, for the kids that, like me, have a little energy and don't want to just sit still quietly, that'll happen over here about halfway through. And kids 6 months to 5 years are welcome to go downstairs to our nursery if they so choose. Now, let's greet one another. If you are Zooming, please say hello in the chat. If you are here in person, please find someone to say hi to wave to hug, to handshake. When you hear the music start up, come on back to your seat, but remain standing because we're going to sing our next hymn.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Oh no, turn me around. Oh no, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking. I'ma keep on talking. Oh yeah, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let brutality turn me around.
Activist and writer Audre Lorde wrote just before she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and subsequently passed away from that. She wrote, I was going to die, if not sooner than later, whether or not I had ever spoken myself. My silences had not protected me. Your silences will not protect you. Amen. It's time to light our flaming chalice, representing the light of reason, a flame of hope, and a fire of commitment. Please join me. It went out.
John thinks all candles are birthday candles. He likes to blow them all out.
I want to shoot.
Hey, that's not nice. Okay, come on.
Hi.
John.
Hello.
Come here. Come here, John.
There you
You
go.
want to help light the candle?
Yeah, let's sport.
No, we're not going to blow it here. You want to help?
Can we say together the words on the screen? May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the way of truth. Thank you, John.
All right. So this morning, I am going to tell you a wisdom story. This was written just a few years ago by my colleague, Becky Brooks, and it is titled Tiny the God. So once upon a time, there was a tiny, little, itty-bitty, very small god named Tiny. And she lived her life hearing stories of all the big gods. And well, let's face it, she was jealous. She knew that she needed to think of some kind of special spark of an idea that would make her existence meaningful. And after watching humans for a long time, she hit upon something that just might work. Something to make people think, yeah, that Tiny has really got a good idea going. This was it. This was going to make her famous. Are you ready? Here it is. You are not alone. She took the form of a very light breeze, and in a voice so quiet each person heard it only in their mind, she said, "You are not alone. You are not alone." And people loved it. It was perfect because who doesn't want to hear that? Pretty soon, Tiny was comforting people all over with "You are not alone." And every evening, she took the form of a breeze and whispered it in people's minds. Until one day, she encountered someone who wasn't comforted by that statement at all. When Miriam heard Tiny's words in her mind, instead of feeling comforted, she felt agitated. Something was just kind of off about it. She kept saying to herself over and over again, "You are not alone. You are not alone." She tossed and turned and she couldn't sleep. And in the morning, she went to read the paper. And instead of skimming everything, she found herself drinking in every story. She was only halfway through when she found herself crying. "I am not alone," she said. "I am connected to each and every one of these people. They live in my town and my country and my world. They love their children like I love mine. They're scared sometimes, and so am I. They hurt like I hurt. I am not alone. I can help." Tiny was surprised. It hadn't occurred to her that someone might think of it that way. And Tiny kept watch over Miriam to monitor this interesting development. Miriam and a coworker met online in a meeting and talked about a law they hoped the Senate would pass, and Tiny noticed when Miriam then wrote a letter to her senator about it. I know a few people here that do that. She noticed that when Miriam made her grocery order, she bought a few extra things for her neighbor and left them with a colorful note on their porch. And she noticed that Miriam had tears in her eyes when she joined in her congregation's worship on her computer, and she heard her favorite hymn through the small speakers. She got out her phone and made an extra donation. She watched as Miriam wrote postcards to friends and family near and far, waved to the dog walkers who passed by her house, and strung up colorful lights in her window. But most importantly for Tiny, she noticed when Miriam received a phone call one evening from a friend she hadn't heard from in a long while. His voice was shaking. "I'm having a hard time," he said. He started to tell her about his troubles, but he began to cry. But Miriam got herself comfortable in her favorite chair. "Take your time. I'll stay on the line with you. You are not alone. I am here." I am here. Tiny heard those words like an echo in her mind. You are not alone. I am here. You are not alone. I am here. Can you say it with me? You are not alone. I am here. In that moment, Tiny knew that she was nothing without Miriam's hands and heart and spirit. And Tiny knew that she wanted what the world needed more than anything was what Miriam had learned to give. So Tiny went to work, and instead of just spending her evenings spreading the gospel of you are not alone, she spent her nighttime doing it too, and her mornings and afternoons, and pretty soon she was spending every moment doing it until she became the breeze itself. And that's why there are no paintings of Tiny, no busts, no holy books, just a breeze, a low voice, and many, many helping hands, loving hearts, and caring spirits. You can hear the echo if you listen closely. You are not alone. You are here. I am here. When people gather outside detention centers and demand to be able to observe conditions inside or to pray with the imprisoned, you are not alone. I am here. At the bedside of a dying person, you are not alone. I am here. In the jailhouse and in the sanctuary, you are not alone. I am here. Separate and together, you are not alone. I am here. May it be so, and may we make it so.
I am glad I woke up today. Each week, when we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys, our sorrows about our lives and the world with us into this room, into this unit, into this family. When we ask for remembrance or celebration, prayer, or thoughts, we make of this sanctuary a truly sacred circle. This morning, the congregation, you, are invited to share your joys and sorrows, whether it is in the chat or in person. Remember that this is a time for deep listening and brief sharing, not to share announcements or other information. After each person shares, we will say together, "In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief."
May all who shared joys feel that joy expand in your heart as it does in the hearts of all gathered here, and all who shared sorrows feel that burden lightened as we all carry the load together with you. And I invite us all now into a time of quiet for personal meditation or centering or prayer, or what we will hear later Howard Thurman called centering down. If you've suffered a deep loss in the last year, or if this time of year marks the anniversary of a significant loss in your life, I invite you to stand or raise your hand during the silence to honor your grief. Now, as we hold the quiet together, may it hold us, each and all. How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashings, with noisy silences, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. With full intensity, we seek, ere the quiet passes, a fresh sense of order in our living, a direction, a strong, sure purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning in our chaos. We look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kinds of people we are. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis, and where are our values focused? For what end do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure, and what do I love most in life? What do I hate most in life? And to what am I true? Over and over, the questions beat in upon the waiting moment as we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down. Let's join in singing while we remain seated. Reading today is from Jesus and the Disinherited, written by Howard Thurman. He wrote this seminal book in 1949, but he began lecturing and preaching about the Gospel as Resistance Manual as early as 1932. And it was for that reason that Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King Jr. and so many other civil rights leaders used to keep a copy of Thurman's book in their pockets. Thurman's theology formed much of the foundation of the civil rights movement. And Thurman writes, "To the child of God, a scale of values becomes available by which men are measured and their true significance determined. Even the threat of violence, with the possibility of death that it carries, is recognized for what it is, merely the threat of violence with a death potential. Such a man recognizes that death cannot possibly be the worst thing in the world. There are some things that are worse than death. To deny one's own integrity of personality in the presence of the human challenge is one of those things. Be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more they can do, says Jesus. On the subsistence level, values are interpreted in terms of their bearing upon the one major concern for all activity, not being killed. This is really the form that the dilemma takes. It is not solely a question of keeping the body alive. It is rather how not to be killed. Not to be killed becomes the great end, and morality takes its meaning from that center. Until that center is shifted, nothing real can be accomplished. It is the uncanny and perhaps unwitting recognition of this fact that causes those in power to keep the disinherited from participation in meaningful social process. Here ends the reading. The movie, A Christmas Story, is about 9-year-old Ralphie and his quest for a particular Christmas present in late 1930s Indiana. How many of you have seen this movie? Okay, good, great. In one of the film's many vignettes, Ralphie's friend Schwartz triple dog dares their mutual friend Flick to stick his tongue on the freezing cold flagpole. So, a bit later, Flick returns to class with a mouthful of gauze after the fire department is called to detach him. At which point, the teacher turns her attention to the rest of the class. I know that some of you put Flick up to this, she says, but he has refused to say who. But those who did it know their blame. And I'm sure that the guilt you feel is far worse than any punishment you might receive. And this is when the adult Ralphie narrates one of the best lines in the whole movie. Adults love to say things like that, but kids know better. We know darn well it was always better not to get caught. The instinct not to get caught, not to face consequences, can be a powerful one, not just for children, but for all of us. Even the most law-abiding among us break rules from time to time, if we're honest. Many of us check the street for cop cars before jaywalking. We know exactly where the speed cameras are, so we know where to actually go the speed limit so we don't get a ticket later in the mail. Things like speeding and jaywalking tickets are deterrents, consequences enforced to try and deter behavior that makes the public less safe. Now, in the philosophical realm, I have no problem with this. I'm all for laws that are made to keep pedestrians and motorists safe. The problem is that today, under the current regime, the consequences for a wide spectrum of legal behaviors have become very brutal, and they're all being enforced under the guise of public safety, but without the rule of law. In September, Reverend David Black, a Presbyterian minister from Chicago, was struck with pepper balls multiple times all over his body for the non-crime of peacefully protesting outside of an ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. A few weeks later, Reverend George Bautista, also, as it happens, a Presbyterian pastor, was shot in the face at near point-blank range with a chemical weapon, also for peacefully protesting the administration's planned law enforcement surge in Oakland, California. Many of us have seen the videos of people being ripped from their cars and dragged out of their homes by ICE agents. But just last week, armed ICE agents entered a preschool and violently removed one of its teachers from the building. According to several reports, the teacher is in the country legally with a valid work permit. This regime insists ICE is only targeting dangerous criminals, but a preschool teacher with a work permit hardly fits that bill. Unfortunately, it seems examples like these are just phase one of the government's plans. On Halloween, news organizations began reporting about leaked Pentagon documents that show the administration is training over 20,000 rapid response forces, According to a Washington Post article, the National Guard Reaction Force is expected to complete civil unrest training and be fully operational by April 1st. The total size of the force will be 23,500 troops across all 50 states and 3 territories, excluding the District of Columbia, the documents say. Most states will supply 500 personnel for the reaction force, with the rest falling between 250 and 450. Now, officially, these forces are being trained to respond to natural disasters, nuclear accidents, and terrorist attacks. But after last month's No King's Day protest, the president repeatedly referred to liberals and protesters as terrorists and, I quote, the enemy within. What's that saying? When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail? I am not sharing this information to overwhelm or scare you. But while some of my job as a minister is to offer comfort and inspiration, another equally important part is to name truth as I see it. Unfortunately, the truth I see is pretty scary right now. But I would be remiss if I did not say out loud that the ground is being laid for violent suppression of anyone who openly disagrees with those currently in power. Over and over again, history has shown us that it is only a matter of time before violent behavior follows violent rhetoric. And if they'll assault peacefully protesting clergy right in front of reporters with cameras, if they'll drag a teacher with a valid work permit out of a preschool, then there is little I would put past them. I know that some in this room were alive to witness and participate in the civil rights movement. Others like me were raised to look up to those demonstrators, and we then supported the Dakota Water Protectors and the Occupy movement and the Black Lives Matter demonstrators. All of the people who participated in those movements took action, even though it meant they might be attacked by dogs, sprayed with powerful water hoses, hit with billy clubs, or shot by police. I've often wondered what could propel a person to not just move beyond the instinct to avoid getting caught, but to actually place themselves in a situation where they are very likely to face violent consequences. Yes, the nonviolent civil disobedience movement, that tactic, has a long track record of being very effective, but it is still very dangerous. It carries incredible risk to people's bodies, to people's lives. So what is it that makes a person willing to face very real fear and risk their life in this way? Perhaps they come to feel, as Thurman writes, that there are some things worse than death, and that to deny one's own integrity of personality in the presence of the human challenge is one of those things. Part of what makes us human is knowing that there is more to life than the mere quest to avoid death. The things that make life meaningful are freedom, beauty, tenderness, the giving and receiving of gifts, the sharing of the common good, all of the things that we lift up here 52 Sundays a year. And when a government takes measures to destroy those things, to deny them to the people they've decided are the enemy, at least the enemy today, there may come a point when having to continue to cooperate, having to continue to pretend that everything is okay, having to continue to carry on with business as usual is actually worse than the potential consequences for saying no. Because to deny the truth of who we are, to deny the reality of what is happening all around us, to deny the truth of the goodness and the preciousness of every single person who has become a target of this regime, that may not cause the death of our bodies, my friends, but it sure can cause the death of our hearts and our spirits. As many people have shared from this pulpit before, resistance takes many forms. And as German theologian Hannah Reichel lifts up in her new book, For Such a Time as This, an Emergency Devotional, it begins with resisting the control the regime wants to have over us. Reichel writes, totalitarianism is about control. It wants to control not just the public, but also the private spaces. Not just politics and economics and education and religion, but also your thoughts and feelings. It does not need your love. Your fear is enough. Keeping your focus, feelings, and thoughts your own is hard, but it is itself an act of resistance. And this is important because for those of us, I'll speak for myself, with the privilege to choose whether to become targets for this regime, it's the desire to stay as safe as possible that is the most dangerous threat to freedom and democracy. As Reichel writes, Gestapo reports suggest that less than 5% of the German population actively opposed the Nazis through acts of resistance or conspiracy. But historians also estimate that ideologically committed and actively practicing Nazis amounted to only about 5 to 10% of the population, with another 20 to 30% generally approving of their policies. Does that ring any bells? Anti-Nazi activist and martyr Sophie Scholl lucidly saw the real damage is done by those millions who just want to survive. The honest men who just want to be left in peace. Those who don't want their little lives disturbed by anything bigger than themselves. Those who don't like to make waves or enemies. If you don't make any noise, the boogeyman won't find you. But it's all an illusion because they die too. Those people who roll up their spirits into little tiny balls so as to be safe. From what? Life is always on the edge of death. As we heard in Joys and Sorrows, Tuesday was a hopeful day for many, not just because candidates they respect were elected to office, but because the results show that the regime hasn't gained total power yet. We can no longer say with a straight face that we have free and fair elections in the United States. Who are we kidding? We couldn't really say that before either. It's just a lot more blatant now. But the fact that those in power at the highest levels couldn't prevent people they oppose from being elected is not a sign that our resistance work is over. No, it is a sign that it's working and that we need to press even harder. We must find some way to move beyond frustrated impatience and toward courageous risk-taking because the potential consequences to our bodies, I think they are better than our children inheriting a totalitarian world. This is hard. I don't want to experience violence. It frightens me. I am afraid when I think about whether I will walk out of the next big protest I go to unscathed. But the truth is, the violence has already begun. Violence is being done to our neighbors, to our friends, to our loved ones, enabling the wealthy to become billionaires and now even trillionaires, while millions of the people that work in their businesses are on SNAP benefits. That is violence. Allowing health insurance companies to make billions while deny life-saving care for their policyholders, that is violence. And it would be easier to believe that we might make it through unscathed, that come what may, we will be able to stay above the poverty line and never need SNAP, that we will never become disabled and need help to afford life's necessities. It would be easier just to hope that we won't happen to need drugs or procedures the insurance company won't cover. So we don't need to make waves. We just need to keep our heads down. It would be easier to just leave the future up to somebody else with more power or more influence than we have. It would be much simpler to conclude that any risks we take couldn't possibly be worth it. That we need not risk getting caught because our impact will be too small to matter. Now, if I was in a different tradition, I might say that was the devil talking. We don't believe in that here. But the truth is, all of us have power, and all of us can have a role. And the truth is, all of us are already at risk. Because as James Baldwin once said, if I'm starving, you are in danger. In other words, if the government will allow anyone to starve, it can allow everyone to starve. If it can deny affordable health care to anyone, it can deny it to everyone. If it can deport anyone without due process, it can deport you, it can deport me. And every single risk we take, no matter how small, every single time our resistance even just slows down the bureaucracy of cruelty, every single thing we do to remind people that there is a way to share a more abundant life, that the current way of the world is not inevitable, that we could choose to be a different society. All of those are ways it might be worth it to get caught and face the consequences. In the days to come, many of us may be faced with situations where we have to choose between truth and life. In order to protect the safety of our bodies, we may have to sacrifice the well-being of our spirits by overlooking injustice, ignoring brutality, or cooperating with evil. Not every situation will be right for us to take a big risk. But when we do find ourselves in the right place, at the right time, with the right influence, I pray that all of us will remember Tiny's power in our hearts and in our world. Because when we are on the side of love and mercy, we are never alone. When we refuse to ignore cruelty, we are never alone. When we feed the hungry, when we care for the sick, when we slow down the bureaucracy of cruelty, when we march peacefully in streets crowded with more and more violent ICE agents, when we choose to place truth ahead of all else, even our own safety, we are never, ever alone. And we can't give up now, because there is a power at work that has sent the rich away empty and fed the hungry with good things before, and it's going to do it again. There is a power that has brought down the mighty and lifted up the lowly, so don't lose hope, my friends, because it's going to happen again. There is a power that's brought down tyrants from their thrones and raised up leaders of justice and peace. Imperfect leaders, yes, but leaders who want not to organize hate, but to build up the common good. And don't lose faith, my friends, because it's gonna happen again. It just needs our hands and our feet and our voices to unleash it into the world. And we can do it because there is a love, a strong, courageous love holding us and holding all that we love. And that love is going to carry us through. Amen.
How do I not cry after that? This congregation is
There it goes.
Yep. This congregation is possible not because we charge people a fee for Sunday services or RE, not because we receive money from the government or from our That's ironic, isn't it? Everything this congregation is and does is possible because we choose to share our gifts here. All of our gifts are important, including our financial support. However you choose to make your gift, I hope you will join me in giving generously. Now, please join me in dedicating all of the gifts to the mission of this congregation by reading the words on the screen to create a joyful spiritual community where we connect deeply, serve, and mobilize for our collective liberation. The Sunday support volunteers will now pass around the plates to collect the offering by cash and by check.
Can we turn up the track just a little bit? Thank you so much. I can't restore sight of the blind, but I can encourage a wounded heart. Mankind must see each other's humanity. For peace, we must play a part. I can't prophesy the years to come or pay the debt for the sins of men, but I can dedicate each day to love in a better way, to progress the Master's plan. Oh, love one another. That is all we've been asked to do. But I can't help giving my love to you. Oh, I'm gonna give you my love. Spread it all over the world. That's what we're all charged to do. I don't understand how hatred prevails in the land of the free. With so much opportunity, let's tell the truth and remove the veil. Live by the law of love. There's no shame in empathy. It's the shame that's tired and poor, the huddled masses and more can no longer stand on our nation's creed. I said it's time to love one another. That is all we've been asked to do. So we can't help giving our love to you. Time to give some love. Give love all over the world. We gotta feed the hungry, give shelter to the poor. Give more love to you. It's time to give more love. Spread it all over the world. Or give more love to you. So lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. We gotta let it ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Come on, let it resound loud as the roaring sea. Let us march on till victory is won.
Now we invite you to rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. The first verse is in Zulu, so lucky for you all, I've tasked the choir with learning that verse, but we want you to join us for all of the 3 subsequent verses in English, all right?
I will not tell you, my friends, not to be afraid, but I will invite you to remember that you also have power and that your risks matter. You are not alone. All of us are here. And the power that has ripped down prisons, that has raised up the lowly and brought justice, will do it again through us. Please join me in the words of Chalice Extinguishing on the screen. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Our worship is over, and now our service begins.
In times like these, we need to be strong. We need to carry on. In times like these, we need to find a way to make a better day. Keep our feet on the ground, turning round, come what may. Everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. Everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs to lean on someone now. In times like these, there's no one not to care. There's no one anywhere who doesn't feel it in their hearts. Gotta make a new start, yo. In times like these, let the world understand. Together, hand in hand, every woman, child, and man, united we stand. Everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs to lean on someone. Everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody's got to lean on someone now. Everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs someone. Everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend. They got a friend of a friend. You got a friend in your need now. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something, and everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs something. Everybody, yeah. Everybody has a friend. You have a friend. Oh. Everybody needs something. We need something. Everybody needs something. We gotta have someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something. Oh yeah. Everybody needs someone. You have a friend in me. I have a friend in you. A friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs someone. Everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of